Getting a gun has never been easier, at least not according to former gang leaders and criminals. By some accounts, you can get a gun on the streets in fewer than 2 hours, and they aren't coming off store shelves.
Well, they're being smuggled in because people that want to possess them do not register firearms. They're criminal, mainly gangs, but they're illegal firearms that are much easier to acquire from the United States.
Inspector Joe Matthews heads up Toronto Police's Guns and Gangs unit. And in 2020, approximately 85% of all handguns they seized were traced back to the States.
They come in many different ways. Transport truck, by plane, private citizens in their vehicles can smuggle guns into the country. It's as much as you can imagine, that's the way that they can come in.
So what's the market like for illegal guns?
It's a huge market.
We were good at keeping enemies out of our neighborhood.
Marcel Wilson knows this well. He runs the One by One movement, a think tank aimed at curbing extreme violence. It's a program he launched after years as the head of a Toronto gang.
We use the car method. It can be as ruthless as a family being kidnapped and forcing a mule to come across the borders, where if they're unsuccessul or if they give up the information, their family will be harmed. Now, as far as getting it across, we have such an open border, but we used several different avenues of doing that, and some were like tricked out cars that have special compartments where you might have to turn the volume knob 3 times to the left and hit the horn, and literally your dashboard will drop out, and there'll be a compartment with like some special lining that the scanners couldn't read, or so they're becoming more sophisticated in the methodology, but it's kind of still the same.
I can tell you that 5 of our top source states for crime guns into Ontario all intersect Interstate 75.
Detective Scott Ferguson works alongside American law enforcement, RCMP, and border officers with a focused mission: trace the guns used in crimes.
So let's keep in mind that if you buy a brand new gun in Florida at a gun show for $199, you can get over $5,000 for it today. So they're so small, the guns, that if you purchase 10 or 20 of those guns, you're making a massive amount of money if you can get them into this province, into our country.
Which is perhaps why Canadian border officers seized 753 firearms at all entry points into Canada last year. A drop in the bucket when you consider that in 2019, police seized 680 guns off the streets of Toronto alone. Most of those came from the States.
I would say that the CBSA is almost 100% successful when they do stop the vehicle of someone that's targeted as a gun smuggler. They're almost 100%. But there's so much vehicle traffic and truck traffic crossing the border that it would be impossible to search every car. It's impossible to do that.
Tomorrow we look at what is and isn't working in Canada's gunfight.